And I think we are live. Hello and welcome everyone to our live lesson today. So today is Saturday, October 21st, and there is a holiday coming up, a fun holiday for many. So I thought that today we're going to talk about some Halloween vocabulary. So I'd like to welcome everyone who's watching. If you've ever wondered about Halloween, or want to know more about it, or love Halloween, or just want to improve your English today, your sorry. Welcome to our lesson, everyone who's interested, and thank you so much for joining us today. Hi, Marco. Wes is hiding. It's true. He is somewhere in there. So again, if you're interested in Halloween, this is, I think, will be a fun lesson. And I have a few questions for you. My first question is, what do you know about Halloween? If all the information, if you know something that's interesting that you'd like to share, please write it in the comments. Another question I have is, what Halloween words or expressions do you know? Or what would you like to know about? Okay, so those are my questions. Write them at any time. In the meantime, let us know your name and where are you writing from. We always love to hear from everyone who's watching. So let us know what's your name and where you're writing from. And also, if you have any knowledge about Halloween, what do you know about it? What words or expressions do you know? And what other words or expressions you want to know about? Okay. Welcome. Thank you from Norway, Marco. Wonderful. So today we're talking about Halloween vocabulary. It's super exciting to do this lesson because Halloween, especially for children, is a very fun holiday, but also for adults. So it's one of those things that I think a lot of people get very excited about. So today I have 13 vocabulary words for you guys, 13 expressions, 13 symbols of Halloween, and this is because 13 is a good Halloween number, and I want to ask you if you know why. Why do you think I have 13 vocabulary words for you today? So if you know, please write it in the comments, and I'm curious to read. So my first one is, of course, Halloween. Oh my God, I was looking at the history of Halloween, and let me tell you, it is long. It's a very long and interesting history. So I would definitely recommend reading up more about it. I haven't memorized all of it, but I will tell you some of the things that I found. It used to be a pagan holiday. Kind of got mixed up. It's very interesting, so I would definitely recommend reading it. There are two major holidays that kind of seem to have merged into this holiday. The first one is All Hallows Eve, which is another term for saints, or All Saints Eve, because in Europe, as well as in Latin America now, November 1st is the day of the dead, or the Saints' Day. So the Eve, of course, if you know what it means, Eve is the day before or the night before. So Halloween would have been the night before the Saints' Day. So that was a celebration. And then another one, it's kind of, that seems to impacted Halloween, was Samhain, and that was a Gaelic festival that was at the end of the harvest season, and kind of a midpoint between autumn and winter. So it has so many interesting origin, so I definitely recommend reading about it. But costumes, people started wearing costumes initially to ward off evil spirits. So those are kind of the beginnings, and it turned into something completely different today. But it's interesting to know about it because today it is many people's favorite fall holiday. I know so many friends back in the US and Canada, and their favorite holiday ever is Halloween. So it's a really, really big holiday, especially in North America. But also celebrated in the UK, Ireland, and now it's kind of spreading everywhere. So again, if you're just joining us, please write us where where you're writing from. But also, I'd like to know if there are any words or Halloween words or expressions that you know. And what do you know about Halloween? I'm kind of gonna go through these. Because it will be exciting to see what you guys think about it. Okay, so this was my first one, was Halloween. My second is trick or treat. Again, if you don't know about trick or treating, this is a practice that is done mostly by children. Where children dress up in costumes and they ask for candy or money, depending on what part of the world they're in. And again, it's spread in North America and UK and Ireland. But basically, a trick. It's kind of a. It's cute, but it's also a little creepy because a trick can be some kind of damage that you're doing on someone's house. So it can be anything from putting toothpaste on their doorknob to destroying property to just really, really bad things you can do to someone's house. And the treat is, of course, money, or it's in the form of candy. And now it's very, very popular. So it's even become a noun. So many children say they go trick or treating. It's very rare when children actually play tricks. I think most of the time they just go say trick or treat, they look very cute in costumes, and they receive a lot of candy. It is a lot of candy to the point where I think parents have to ration these things out. And it's very, very popular, especially in the US and Canada. Okay, now speaking of trick-or-treating, my next word for you is candy. And this one is, of course, everyone knows what candy is, but I put it on here because of the grammar around candy. So the candy related to Halloween is children receive this candy when they go trick-or-treating. But something that I always hear English language learners say wrong is, many people say, oh, children eat many candies. Or they say like, oh, the candies are great. Actually, that is not, candies is the plural of candy, but it's used as a non-count noun. So we say that children got a lot of candy. So it's like coffee or like rice, just like any other non-count noun. So don't say candies. It will sound a little awkward. Just say candy when you are talking about the plural. A lot of candy. Okay, are you guys ready for the next one? If you are just joining us, you can tell us, what do you know about Halloween, what you'd like to know. Also, if you have ever gone trick or treating, maybe it's something that is done in your country, maybe it's not. Let us know if you've ever done it, and if so, did you get a lot of candy? Okay, this is my next term. This is a very useful one related to Halloween. So if you ever watch a movie, if you ever read about Halloween, jack-o'-lantern is a term that definitely shows up because it's such an important symbol of Halloween. A jack-o'-lantern is a carved pumpkin that is glowing because it has a light in it. And initially it started because it was meant to ward off evil spirits. Because remember, Halloween it was supposed to be the night before All Saints Day, when you have all these spirits kind of floating around. So people started wearing costumes, and they were trying to do anything to ward off these evil spirits. They did not want them next to them. So this is a jack-o'-lantern. Now, why a pumpkin? Honestly, I've always wondered this, so I put it on here because I'm sure you have also. Initially, so these holidays came from Ireland, but in Ireland there were no pumpkins. Pumpkins actually come from North America. So what people used to carve before used to be turnips. So they carved all kinds of vegetables and put embers in them to ward off these spirits, but it's not actually known when they started carving pumpkins, but what is known is that the US, North America, had a lot of pumpkins this time of year. So it only seems to make sense that pumpkins would be used as some of the vegetables. Now, I don't know if you know this, but these pumpkins in the image here, they're especially grown to be carved. So companies started growing and selling specific kinds of pumpkins to be carved. So these are not the best kinds of pumpkins for eating. So they're just especially made to be carved, and it's such a huge tradition in the United States. Huge. Children do this with their parents. Many people use them for decorations. So it's really, really, really big. So if you're wondering what a jack-o'-lantern is, if you've ever wanted to carve one, have you ever carved one, let us know in the comments. I'm very curious. I have personally, because I didn't grow up in the US, I haven't carved it when I was a child, but I did it with some of my students later on, and it is a lot of fun, but it's also difficult because you have to get these designs, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so are you guys ready for the next one? A costume. Okay, now a costume, it is not a custom. So please don't pronounce it like custom, because a custom is like a tradition. It's a different word. It's a tradition or common practice. But I wanted to ask you if you have ever worn a Halloween costume. Now, this is one of those things that I think has spread throughout the world faster than the other Halloween traditions, faster than, decorating with a jack-o'-lantern, or faster than maybe trick-or-treating. So please let me know if you have ever worn a Halloween costume, and if yes, what was it, and are you dressing up this year? I don't think Wes and I are dressing up this year for Halloween. I don't think we're wearing costumes. We actually met at the school where we were working together, and because it was an office, I've always wanted to go as Jim and Pam from The Office, but he has not wanted this. So we're not dressing up this year, sadly. But if you guys want to tell him, please do so. Maybe he'll listen. But yeah, so if you guys have worn any Halloween costumes, please write it down in the comments. It will be nice to see what people have worn. I've worn many Halloween costumes throughout the years. Okay. Another big thing that you should know about costumes is that nowadays everyone is obsessed with sexy costumes. So it's kind of become funny because people do anything sexy, like any costume you can make sexy. You can be a sexy police officer, sexy nurse, and it's definitely some people take this opportunity for Halloween to dress up as sexy as they can. So if you ever watch movies and hear about sexy costumes around this time of year, it is a thing. A lot of people dress up in different costumes, and they're trying to disguise themselves into just a completely different person. Originally, like I said, the point of these costumes was to ward off evil spirits. Now it's changed into just kind of a reason to party. Okay, so my next word that you should know for this holiday is decorations. Decorations. So many people, I've seen it a lot in the US, decorate their homes, which means that they put different Halloween connected items on display to enhance the feeling of this holiday. So Halloween decorations include spider webs, tombstones, pumpkins, and people go crazy. I've seen so many graveyards and people's front yards. So people really, really, really decorate. So if you guys are just joining us again, welcome. Hi, Samir. Hi, everyone. If you're just joining us, we are talking about Halloween vocabulary and things you should know about Halloween and how it's celebrated kind of throughout the world. So we also have a few questions for you. If you were to dress up for Halloween, which costume would you wear? What would you like to wear? Have you ever gone trick-or-treating? And what was my first question is, what do you know about Halloween? Okay, so please in the comments answer some of these questions. It would be really fun to see what you guys have to say. So again, decorations are just things we put up around the house to enhance this feeling of a holiday. It is really, people really, really, really love Halloween decorations. Okay. My next one is a haunted house. Now, a haunted house is the general meaning of a haunted house. Hi, Furkat, welcome. The meaning of a haunted house is a house with ghosts or spirits in it. But during Halloween time, it takes on a whole new meaning because it is a symbol and it is a huge attraction. So, what do I mean by that? Some people decorate. Either they decorate their homes or houses with a lot of decorations that are really, really terrifying. They make it as scary as possible, and they even dress up or hire other actors who dress up in like these scary costumes to scare people who go through the house. Now, many of these haunted houses you actually pay an admission fee for, and it's a form of entertainment. But it is a really big deal. I know in the US, many amusement parks, they turn them into like really scary haunted houses, like very extended forms of them. So initially, like I said, it's a house with ghosts, but it becomes a huge attraction for Halloween. Now, I had another question which I forgot to ask, but I want to ask is for any of other holiday, not necessarily Halloween, do you decorate your home for the holidays, for any holidays that are in your country? I'd like to know what you do, what holiday is important, and if you decorate or not. Not just for, like I said, not just for Halloween, but any other holiday that you have. Okay. So my next word is superstitions. Superstitions. A superstition is a belief. It's not something that has any kind of rational root or anything, but it's a belief that if you do something, or if you have something or hold something, that will bring you good luck or bad luck. So it makes absolutely no sense, but some people truly and fully believe in superstitions. So some superstitions related to Halloween are black cats, and this is really sad because it is believed that black cats bring bad luck. So if you walk on the street and there's a black cat crossing your path, you're supposed to have bad luck. And in some countries, they really, really fully believe this so much that black cats are, nobody wants to adopt them because it's believed to have bad luck, and it can get crazy. The number 13 is another unlucky number, which is why today we have 13 words for you. Not unlucky, but a number very symbolic of Halloween. It's a little spooky. Friday the 13th, which we have had this month, it's supposed to be an even crazier day when anything can happen. And one that I wrote here, and again related to Halloween, a Bloody Mary, which it's a little scary. If you are at night in the mirror and say Bloody Mary 3 times, you're supposed to have this crazy woman appear, and I don't know what she does. I feel like, I don't know if she kills you or tells you your fortune or something. Just nothing good. Nothing good. But that's another superstition. And there's so many other superstitions. So I wanted to ask you, what superstitions do you have in your country? Do you have anything that you actually believe in? There are things even like walking under ladders, looking into a broken mirror, salt, like spilling salt, spilling milk. There's so many different kinds of superstitions. But I want to know, and I'm curious, if you believe any of them, do you follow any, and what are some that you have in your country? In my country, for example, this is something that I believe in, actually. And it doesn't make any sense, but I believe it. It has to do with flowers. So when somebody receives flowers, in my country, you're not supposed to give an even number of flowers. So you can never give somebody 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 flowers. You're only supposed to give an odd number of flowers, so it's only 1, 3, 5, and so on, because you only give an even number of flowers when somebody dies. So it's just a superstition. It's a silly superstition. It doesn't make any sense, but to this day, especially in the US, if I receive a bouquet of flowers, it's very popular in the US to give a dozen flowers, which is 12. So I always take one out, so I have 11, or add one, so I have 13. And it's just something that I've done over the years, even though I don't consider myself superstitious. But just that part I just don't like. I don't think I'm superstitious, but there are a couple of superstitions that I follow, if that makes sense. Are you guys superstitious? Let us know. Ooh, this one I like. Spooky. You hear spooky at Halloween more than any other time of the year. Just like you hear jolly around Christmas. It's just a word that goes with a holiday. And some synonyms for spooky are sinister, ghostly, easily frightened, scary. But I would say it's not as strong as scary. So it's just slightly under, like, you're not actually terrified. You're just a little bit scared. So an example sentence would be, if a place is spooky late at night, you're a little bit like a park, it's going to be a little spooky, but you're not completely terrified. So that is spooky. But again, it really, 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 really goes with Halloween. Okay, another one that again doesn't make much sense is scarecrows. So, why scarecrows became a symbol of Halloween, I have no idea. Some people think maybe because it's around harvest time, so these are used by farmers and they're used to scare crows. So, the whole autumn thing kind of, it just kind of became a thing. I don't know. But scarecrows are definitely a symbol of Halloween, and many times they're used as decorations in people's yards. And sometimes they're used as costumes. So some people dress up as scarecrows, like this kid right here on the left. So scarecrows are a big part of Halloween. And again, they're just these things stuffed with hay, meant to scare crows. I used to live, long thanks for asking, I used to live in the San Francisco Bay Area, but I don't live there any longer. Okay, this one's one of my favorites. Hocus Pocus. And I included it because of, if you've been on the internet at all these days, you can see this everywhere. It's a huge symbol of Halloween. Mostly it refers to this movie that I'm going to talk to you about in a second. But Hocus Pocus, it's originally a magical term, and it's something that magicians say, or it's something that witches or wizards say when they're about to do a charm or a spell. This is what it's believed that witches or wizards would say, of course. Hocus Pocus, it's kind of like abracadabra, or, those kinds of things. It also means it's just some meaningless talk. It doesn't really mean much. So my example for Hocus Pocus is dealing with politicians. So much of what politicians say is just hocus pocus. So it doesn't really mean that much. Okay, now the movie. It's a famous Halloween Disney movie. I think it was in the 90s, like early 90s, 92, 93. And it has these three witch sisters. I just recently watched it. I made Wes watch it. He didn't think it was that great. I love it. It's a classic Halloween movie. So if you'd like to watch and learn about trick-or-treating and the history of, well, not history, but if you want to have a cultural experience about Halloween, I would definitely recommend this movie because it's a huge part of the Halloween history. So go ahead, watch it. It's a Disney movie. It's not too scary. It's not meant to be too scary, but it's I think it's cute. Okay, I'll stop. Okay, I just have a few more words. It's late. My next one is monsters. So we can't have Halloween without monsters. Monsters are scary, unnatural creatures, not people. And on Halloween, you see things like werewolves, vampires, demons, zombies, and a bunch more. But these are some that are very, very popular around Halloween. People dress up as them. People watch movies with them. So if you see them, they are monsters. My last one, my 13th word. I have not been to Norway long. I would love to come to Norway or to go to Norway. Hopefully soon. Would love to. A witch. So a witch, we all know, I'm sure we've all seen this picture, is a woman with magical powers. But what some people may not have known is that it's commonly believed that witches could turn into cats. So again, you have all of these symbols of Halloween, like black cats, so witches. They can mean, they can be witches and monsters and scarecrows and what else do we have? Haunted houses and skeletons and zombies and so many things that are related to Halloween. And witches are among them. So that is it for oops. That is it for today. Oh, an example of a zombie. A zombie, I didn't include here, maybe I should have. A zombie is supposedly a person who used to be alive and now it's not. So it's a corpse who has risen from the dead. And depending on the legends or depending on the movie or book or whatever you're reading, they can either be very slow or they can be very fast. But there are usually monsters that are trying to kill you. So those are zombies, people who used to be alive and now they're dead and they have risen from their graves. Okay. So I wanted to let you know, we actually have a few more Halloween lessons coming up that I'm very excited about. On Tuesday, we have 13 scary words. This is a really fun lesson with some really useful vocabulary. A lot of it is academic vocabulary, so I think it will be very, very helpful if you're trying to expand your vocabulary in English. You don't just use them at Halloween. You can use them at any time. They're just there to help you improve and expand your knowledge. And on Halloween Day, which is October 31st, we have some Halloween idioms. And again, I think it's going to be a fun lesson. I think you guys will enjoy it. Oh, it's a very good question, Furkat. What is the difference between witch and wizard? I was actually just reading up on it today. Because witch has this negative connotation and wizard it doesn't, they're actually the same thing. A wizard is a male who has magical powers, and a witch is a female who has magical powers. Now, of course, you can have a good witch and a bad witch, but usually witches have bad connotations. Okay, well, thank you guys so much. If you like Halloween, if you guys would like to share this lesson with your friends or find it interesting, please go ahead and share it. Write any questions you have for us and join our social media classes. Thank you again for joining us, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy Halloween. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining.